Hi Taurus, welcome. Sorry I've been so late. I was super sick the past few days. Kind of mustered up a little bit of energy tonight, so we did this, a little bit of makeup. Let's see how we can go. Let's see where this goes. All right. August energy, Wheel of Fortune. Excellent. We love a Wheel of Fortune no matter what. Opportunities come through. We start seeing, the seeds that we planted earlier in the year starting to come to fruition. We start realizing that our energy is actually really shifting the universe and actually calling things into us. We start seeing connections and communications get a little bit easier and easier. It's not an overnight energy, okay? The Wheel of Fortune is never like boom, like a tower, right? It's never extreme in its nature. It's always like little breadcrumbs to kind of like little things that you see that give you an indication that things are really turning in your favor. This I often see as like the breath of life, and we often have these, ebbs and these flows, and when it's upright, there's definitely a flow going on. So things are moving forward, even if you can't necessarily perceive them, or you might not really know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. This is the energy of the universe itself, the energy of the energy. It sort of morphs around your emotional state, around your mental state, and the things that you put out there. So this is it's always functioning, it's always working, and for you it's definitely working in your favor. So it's an excellent way to start the reading. 8 of Cups. Okay, well, look, you're creating space for something for sure. As you leave things behind, as you cut ties, as you forgive, whether it's a lover or a boss or a coworker, a friend, a parent from childhood, like who knows? This is 4th house activity for you guys. So 4th house always has that component of nostalgia and going back to your roots and really where you came from. And if you had any issues with parents, this is usually a time of the year when you most likely start like letting things go, So you are creating space, and while you might be moving forward into a somewhat mysterious future, and maybe you don't quite know exactly where this is going to head or where it's going to go, that is okay, because you have faith, right? This is a story here, these 2 cards of an unbreakable faith in the universe looking out for itself, right? Your well-being, the universe wants you to succeed. The universe wants you to survive. It wants you to be well off. It wants you to have the things that you want, because that in and of itself is the universe experiencing the best of itself too. So, there should be a lot of faith in where you're going as you forgive, as you move on, as you let things go. I think you'll find more and more opportunities presenting themselves in front of you. Interesting. Right now, you might actually not be too interested in incorporating a lot of new things into your life. You might not be feeling entirely ready to let new things. That's okay, by the way. Like, we actually really like a 4 of Cups energy. It's highly mature, right? It's a real emotion. The word that I always use is emotional maturity, right? This is the card of that, where you don't necessarily get overly excited about things. You analyze them, you look at them, and you decide what's really worthy to have in my life. What's worthy, what's worth my time, who is worth my time and my energy. Because I don't know, Taurus, you're taking on this. I think I named your reading a couple months ago, like the philosopher, because that's really what you guys, a lot of your placements have a lot to do with, like philosophy stuff and really learning about seeing things from a really high level perspective, and your spirituality with all the Saturn Pluto stuff in Capricorn in the 9th house. Like, your spirituality is like you're starting to believe new things. You're starting to see things from a whole different point of view. So while that shift is occurring, right, because the planets are going to do what the planets are going to do, and while that shift is occurring, I think it's a good thing that you're like not necessarily committing to something because it's like, well, I don't really know where life is going to take me. And this is a perfect example of someone living in the moment. right? Living moment to moment and being open to change, being open to the mystery that life really is, and not trying to control anything. So if you are in a connection with a kind of a frustrating Taurus right now, it's because they're grasping at something, okay? They're grasping onto their self-sufficiency. They're grasping onto what they know. They might be really struggling with this Eight of Cups, like leaving something behind. And it's really hard to get in to a Taurus when they're in that mode of like never letting go. Okay, so it just is what it is. It's beyond your control. So it's probably best to just let them do what they have to do. But if you're dealing with, or if you are or are dealing with a highly evolved or highly spiritual Taurus, likely you're going to start seeing them find some more freedom in their life and to really enjoy their freedom. So here we are, King of Cups. Are you guys the King of Cups? I think on some level you are, right? This is your opposite sign of Scorpio actually coming through, which tells me that you might be dealing with a lot of deeply emotional stuff, and not necessarily emotional stuff that you're quite ready to share, or quite ready to be open about. And King of Cups is an interesting energy because he's very separate. Like his mind and his heart, they kind of operate in two very different modalities. And there is resistance to share, especially with the Six of Coins coming out reversed. There's a resistance to share what's really going on with the people that you love. You may feel like, I'm just going to do what I do. I'm going to give, and I'm going to contribute, and I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to like keep my life as normal as possible while all these internal changes are going on. I sense hyper awareness that all these internal changes and shifts are going on. But at the same time, it's almost as though you don't want to jinx the progress by talking about it, which is weird that I'm even seeing that word. That kind of word just sort of popped up into my mind. It's like you don't want to jinx the progress. You don't want to jinx the process. And you don't want to put a halt on anything or ruin it by incorporating anyone else's perspective or anyone else's ideas. And maybe that's why this Four of Cups came out, because you're being really, I don't know, there's probably only a few people that you're really going to listen to right now. Few people whose opinions really matter. And I'm not even saying like your significant other might not be the person that you want to listen to right now, because they might be a little too close to the whole thing. So the only people whose opinions you should really be taking are people you greatly respect and that have absolutely no investment in your life, right? So they can be real honest. They can just say it like it is, and it really doesn't affect them. So therefore you can like trust them, right? So, there is a little bit of caution in who you tell your stuff to, who you expose yourself to. And some of you may be feeling a little bit unsafe and feeling like, you know what, I really have to go this alone. You don't have to go it alone, but I do, I do like the fact that you're being protective of who you're sharing it with. Fourth house is always a really intense house. Of course, we just went through Cancer season, so you kind of get like a double Cancer season, like a double whammy of that whole thing. Taurus is interesting because like being the second sign of the zodiac, right? It's like the way that all the houses are positioned, especially if you're actually a Taurus rising. It's kind of like you go through Cancer season with the third house, then you move into the fourth house. It's a Cancer house. So you kind of have like blocks of like 2 months at a time. Right? You don't like switch every 30 days like everybody else. It's just like you kind of have 2 months of the same energy, and it just kind of melts into one another kind of month after month after month. So, I think you're still processing the stuff from all the eclipses from Cancer season, and you're still continuing to go through even more stuff. So it's a slow go for you guys, but it's needed and it's extraordinarily cleansing. And what happens is you do create the space for the good things. You create space for the good love, for the good money, the good job, the good relocation, all that kind of stuff. And right now I do see you being a little bit greedy with your time, and I think that's absolutely okay. I think you are a highly valuable asset, right? Whether it's at work or in your relationships, you're highly valuable and you have a lot to offer, but you're not just going to be like giving it out like candy on Halloween, right? You're not just giving it away. It's a very careful selection of who gets what from you. And this could be real frustrating for some people dealing with a Taurus, like I said. Like some people are really, really going to be struggling with the idea that their Taurus doesn't think of them as being special enough. And I think that's just like something that we're just going to have to deal with, is that Taurus is in the zone right now. They're in their deeply emotional place. There might be some attachments that they're really trying to get rid of, and it's an extraordinarily private process that they're going through. And, you know, you just got to let them do it on their own, because that's Taurus. I can do it myself, right? That's the Taurus way. I can do it myself. And it's okay for you to be selfish with that. I think you've, you know, of course. I don't see Taurus fighting a lot right now, right? I see a real fluid energy. Like you're really tapping into the movement of things, okay? And I don't see people's opinions being able to really tell you otherwise. I don't really see, like, I don't know. I think you have a sense of knowing. You know what's going on. You know what you need to do. You know how the world is affecting you, and you know how you're affecting the world. And it's really just you moving forward. That's it. I don't see you really fighting anybody. Like you're like, yeah, you can tell me your opinion, but I'm probably not going to listen. You know, I'm probably not going to listen because I don't really care. Maybe that's really what this is too. Like, I don't care. But this is a good thing because I don't see you exerting unnecessary effort in trying to show someone your way of thinking or show someone your reason for doing something. This is a perfect story of someone who doesn't care what people think, and that is in and of itself an extraordinary freedom. You don't care what people think, and the fact that they care so much that you don't care what they think is almost it's almost comical, right? Because it's so like people really want people to care what they think. They really want their opinions to matter, especially in Leo season, and especially as Mercury makes its way through Leo. This is a time when people's opinions are going to be flying all over the place, and when they keep hitting up and ricocheting off of a Taurus energy, they're going to get like, oh my God, like why doesn't my friend or why doesn't my partner like actually care about what I have to say? And they may take it real personally, right? So if you're in a loving, committed relationship and you're starting to kind of feel this energy with your partner, please just communicate to them what's actually going on. Communicate to them like, hey, I'm just really going through this right now and I need to figure it out on my own, right? Like right now, your opinion, while I value it, it's not what I need right now because you're just a little too close to it, okay? Because this can be frustrating for the people trying to like give you their wands, right? But I also don't see you fighting. It's just like, yeah, you can give me your opinion, but I'm not going to listen. Like, fine, do what you want. Like, you're free. You can have your free speech. You're fine, right? But I'm not going to listen. So here's the Ace of Wands. I know that look, you've created this. This is not even a surprise, and I know you know this. This is the Taurus MO. That's your motto, right? I have. So when it comes to manifestation, Taurus is so powerful and just like thinking of it and having it appear in its life without really any effort at all. So it's no surprise that the Ace of Wands is coming through. There could be a new passion, a new love, a new venture, a new business, a new whatever you're doing. And it's something that I think you really, really care about. And it's worth leaving things behind for, right? There's a reason why you're leaving things behind, because there's something new and sparkly. It's not a distraction, though. It's a new path. This is not the energy of someone who gets distracted and just kind of like wants to like see what's over there. It's not what this is. This is full on leaving something behind, and this is full on opening a door. So this is what the Wheel of Fortune is really bringing forward for you. And I love the patience that you're exhibiting. It's just to sit and wait. Like, yeah, I'm going to sit and wait, because I know that Ace of Wands is coming. I know it is. Yes, it can be new love, for those of you who are wondering. It absolutely can be new love. And this could be an energy of this whole story of, you know what, I'm just not really interested in dating, because I know that if there's someone out there that's meant for me, just by going to work and doing what I do and my yoga classes and my this and my that and my hobbies and all this, like, I know that someone's going to come. That could be what this is. Okay? It's in the works. If this Ace of Wands doesn't appear this month, it's likely that during the 5th house activity, right, in Virgo season, that it could show up. So don't get disappointed if it doesn't happen in August. It's okay. It could be a few months out. Could even be in Scorpio season, okay, especially if it's a romance that you're looking for. Could be Scorpio season, but the Wheel of Fortune is what's really important, because that's you knowing that it's in the works. 2 more. Okay. Hierophant reversed. Okay, so I don't know. I see you going about it in a really Taurus kind of way. So this is highly iconoclastic, right? Very against the system, against the tradition. There could be something that you're doing which is actually kind of alarming for people, because it's just so completely opposite of what you've always done before. And it's against culture. It's against society, right? There's a big scale that comes through here. And it could be really unnerving, which is probably why all these people are going to try to tell you stuff. But you're clearly set in your ways. You clearly have your mind set up about something. And it just is what it is. Because of all the spiritual stuff that you have going on, okay, in the 9th house, Pluto, Saturn conjunction, and eclipses and all that. Because of that energy, your whole view on why we all do things is like so different than most people. And I suspect that you finding a deep, meaningful connection with someone might actually be challenging for you right now, because it's like you're going to need someone who's really woke, right? Someone who's definitely gone through the whole awakening process. And I think you're coming to grips with like those people are far and few between, even though like here we are online, this whole spiritual community, and there's tons and tons and tons of content out there. It's still like, if a video has 1 million views, that's great, but that's still only 1 million people. So spread out through the whole world, that's, pretty sparse. So there could be some quality of like, I'm really going to hold out for the right thing. I'm going to hold out for the right opportunity. I know my Ace of Wands is coming. So, and it might not be normal. It might not be what people think is the right way, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to like do anything to appease anybody else. I don't know. You might piss some people off this month, Taurus, because of that attitude, but I think it's the best attitude to have, because you do seem to be on point with what you need right now. Like your intuition is real strong. That King of Cups always knows what he needs. There's no question with that. And then a King of Wands. A lot of king energies. So we get 2 masculine energies. So are you the King of Wands too? Fire and water? Or is the King of Wands somebody else? Let's talk about it in the comprehensive. I think you have a real big picture that's formulating for yourself right now, right? You're opening yourself up to divine messages. You're opening yourself up to your path, your purpose, where you should go, what you should do. the place where you feel most comfortable, the place where you feel called. This I always say is my Steve Jobs of the tarot, right? He's extraordinarily innovative, big picture kind of person, but he's not necessarily in the trenches. Actually, neither of these really are the energies of people that I see in the trenches. More the knights, I feel, or like the Queen of Wands, I feel is very much like in the nitty gritty, getting their hands dirty, doing all the dirty work, that kind of thing. But these energies here are behind the scenes, almost like the conductor of an orchestra. Like you're not actually playing the instruments or making the music, but you're definitely making the music happen. So I see you taking on that director role. Okay, directing the actors on screen, directing your life, directing your opportunities, creating them. And it's kind of like you're the puppet master here with everything, which is really great because it puts you in a position of power over your destiny, right? Puts you in a position of power over your life. And I think you feel empowered this season, or you have an opportunity to feel empowered. There might be someone here, though. This could be the Seven of Wands person or people, the people who really want to tell you what to do, who definitely have an opinion. There could be a clash, okay? I think you guys see things very differently. There could be arguments. There could be some kind of agree to disagree. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, I say that's good. Okay, I do. I say that that's good. So let's go ahead and put this camera down here. We'll switch views and we'll see what comes out when we pull the clarifiers for the comprehensive. All right? Thanks, guys. Okay, Taurus. So let's go ahead and pull out 2 more cards from a completely different tarot deck. This is called the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot, which I love. So let's see. Oh, and then we have the 8 of Coins, actually, which is you minding your own business, doing what you know you have to do. And a Page of Cups. Excellent. Okay, so why do I love the fact that both of these 8 cards came out? 8 is connected with the Strength card in the Major Arcana. Okay, so when we think of the strength quality coming through, it takes a lot of strength to leave something behind, and it definitely takes a lot of strength to mind your own business. This is exactly what I was talking about with this here. It's like no matter what anyone says, you know what you have to do, you know best, you know what your journey is and what it's supposed to be, and this is just you just doing it. Like you're not hesitating, you're not, pulling back, right? You're just doing what you know you need to do. Page of Cups is a quality of communication. There could be maybe something, again, we're going to clarify these kings here. They both could be components of you and your personality, but I do feel like this is actually someone external as well. You could be hearing from them. I do like the fact that these are both masculine energies, which tells me that you will have, if there's a problem, it'll be confronted. Okay, and it's not going to be something where everyone's kind of waiting for the other person to reach out or to pull the trigger or whatever. It's going to be like, no, like let's address it, let's talk about it, let's get it out in the open, let's deal with it. And there could be an apology maybe. I often see the Page of Cups as being an apology. There could also be just kind of a nice little message for you of support as well. This could be someone who's just sort of observing you from afar or, supporting you from afar and just saying like, hey, like I really respect what you're doing, keep it up. You give me, you inspire me to do the same. Like I really appreciate you doing what you're doing. So that could be a really positive message for you as well. Now I'm going to use this Untethered Soul deck for any of you who've read the book. These are cards these are cards that have excerpts from the book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend you do. Okay, so what is this one? When your stuff gets hit, let go right then because it will be harder later. This came out for another sign, I forget which one. But what it's talking about, like when your stuff, quote unquote, gets hit, it references your walls, okay? And whenever we have some kind of a trigger, like we get offended or we feel jealous or we start feeling insecure, you know, all of those emotions are indication that we're trying to protect something, right? We're trying to keep something intact. So when it talks about your stuff getting hit and letting go right then, it means to just acknowledge that you feel a certain way. You feel scared, maybe you feel insecure. Some of you may be feeling underappreciated as well. For some reason, that was a message that was just coming through with no cards. I just was kind of feeling that vibe. Maybe you were feeling underappreciated, and you know, you deal with that, you acknowledge that emotion, but then you work to let it go rather than doing the traditional thing of like hanging on to it and like, oh my God, I feel so bad about this, or I feel so frustrated, or I feel so jealous about this. You know, just acknowledge like, yes, I feel jealous, but I don't really want to feel that way. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time. Like, I'm going to just let this go. And that's also going to help you with your healing processes too. So that's a really great card to get. So let's look at one more oracle card and then we'll start pulling the clarifiers for the comprehensive reading. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those readings that takes an interesting turn in the comprehensive. Ooh, a deep knowing. Oh my God. I love these oracle cards so much because they always just sort of accentuate exactly what needs to be said. I know you have a deep knowing of what you need to do. You know you have a deep knowing of what you need to do. And that is like no one else's problem, right? This is you. This is your soul coming forward. This is fourth house, guys. Like, what can we expect? This is your soul coming forward and saying, Taurus, you need to move in this direction. And it is going to push you. It's going to push you. You're in motion here. Okay, you're in motion, you're making it happen, you're not listening to anybody else. This is the epitome of absolute freedom right here. Okay, so this is really, really good. All right, let's go ahead and pull out these clarifiers. So if you want to join me in the comprehensive, you're more than welcome. We talk for another 20 to 25 minutes. The link will be in the description box down below. All right, let's look at this Wheel of Fortune here. Ooh, Ace of Wands reversed, telling me that the Ace of Wands is still in the works. So, like I was saying, it could be, you know, Virgo season, Libra, or Scorpio season when this kind of stuff starts coming to fruition. So don't freak out if it's not coming through right away. Okay, Ten of Wands. I know you've been working hard. I know. Okay, I think this Two of Coins is deeply connected with the Eight of Cups. Do you stay or do you go? Do you keep this going or do you let it go? Oh, you have to let it go. And I know you know that. High wisdom showcasing itself here. Okay, we're going to talk about the manifestation, actually, that you are actually manifesting by doing nothing except walking away. That by walking away, you are then manifesting. We'll talk about that a little bit more. One more for that Eight of Cups, I think. Okay, excellent. Four of Cups. Okay. Almost like the same energy, yeah? Another King of Cups. Look, you know where you're going. You know where you're going. You know what you need to do to get there. You don't need to keep torturing yourself. Wow, you know what I see? I see this being a story of someone who fully commits to themselves. Fully committed to yourself. Not in a selfish way, not in a I'm going to stampede on other people kind of way, not like that. Okay, I know that's a card of Taurus, but I actually feel like that's someone else. It's someone else who probably in the past you perceived as being an obstacle. And in a way, they kind of enjoyed that role in your life. They enjoyed being the devil's advocate. But kind of like almost like a competitive horse, you know, who, sorry, I don't know I'm not a horse person, but like, you know how they have those like obstacle courses for the horses? They're always, you know, jumping over things. I feel like you just jump over. Like maybe that's the last major hurdle, is that King of Coins reversed. So the Ace of Wands is great, but I don't see you being overly ecstatic about it. You know, because the Ace of Wands means something else. The Ace of Wands means you have to release. So it's a cost. There's a cost for that Ace of Wands, and I think you know it, and you know it. And the question really might be coming down to, are you willing to pay that price? And maybe that's the dilemma. Maybe there's the reason why you can't talk about it with certain people, because there are certain people that might get really hurt. Now is not a time for actually like, now is a time for just the movement to happen. It's not about like sudden changes and moving away. And ooh, Six of Coins reversed comes out twice. Star reversed. Little twinge of melancholy coming through. But it's like, you know you gotta do what you gotta. Ooh, another Eight of Cups coming out and the Five of Cups. And then we have the Chariot on the bottom of the deck. So we'll definitely have a lot to talk about in the comprehensive. So if you do want to join me there, you are more than welcome. If not, then I will see you next month. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Have an excellent month. Take care.